What if the world you see, the polite smiles, the quiet agreements, the handshakes, isn't reality at all? What if the rules you think govern human behavior are illusions, easily bent by those who understand the true game? Machiavelli didn't write about virtue, he wrote about survival. And not the survival of the soul, ideals, or justice, but the survival of power itself, raw, unyielding, and unflinching. He saw life, in its most unforgiving arenas, as a game of perception, where honor, fairness, and explanation were fragile as glass. He knew something most never grasp: the instant you rush to defend yourself, justify your actions, or plead your case, you surrender the story. You hand the narrative to another, and with it, your power, your presence, your ability to shape reality. Silence, Machiavelli realized, is not absence, it is authority. A measured pause, a refusal to validate the accuser, becomes more formidable than any argument. Presence, not words, becomes the ultimate weapon. The quiet gravity that bends perception, commands attention, and forces the world to respond on your terms. In that stillness, the truly powerful do not merely exist, they dominate the space around them without a single syllable. Imagine Florence, 1498. Streets pulse with life, markets hum with barter. Artisans shout over the clamor, whispers of betrayal curl through alleys like smoke. Every handshake, every bow, every polite smile carries hidden weight. The Medici, rulers of wealth, art, and influence, has been exiled by a restless populace, leaving a fragile vacuum where ambition and treachery reign. Into this world walks 29-year-old Niccolò Machiavelli, unproven yet piercingly observant, is entrusted with the keys to Florence's diplomacy, not because he is noble, fearless, or conventionally clever, but because he can see beneath the surface the machinery of power laid bare. He watches kings and cardinals, dukes and generals, maneuvering with grace and brutality intertwined. Cesare Borgia, magnetic and remorseless, charms, deceives, and destroys with surgical precision. Alliances are forged and shattered. Families rise and fall on whispers. Entire cities are leveraged, bargained, sacrificed on ambition's altar. Machiavelli records it all, capturing patterns beneath chaos. He sees something terrifying, exhilarating. Obedience is rarely born of love. Loyalty is rarely born of justice. People follow not the righteous but the cunning. They respond less to virtue than to perception, less to character than to calculated appearances. In this realization, Machiavelli learns the first unbreakable rule of power: control the story, or it will control you. Every gesture, every silence, every word carries consequence. The world is a stage. Those who fail to recognize who writes the script risk becoming actors in someone else's play. Here, survival is strategic. Influence is seized, not given. And the strongest are those who navigate the invisible currents beneath the human surface. But here's the paradox. If power requires deception, manipulation, and fear, can morality survive? Can a ruler, or any of us, navigate the world without becoming a tyrant in some measure? The answer lies not in abandoning morality, but in understanding its function. Machiavelli doesn't demand we become evil. He demands we see clearly, act deliberately, and never surrender the story. There's a moment, a split-second decision, when someone calls you out, questions your character or intent. The average person responds immediately. I didn't mean it. You misunderstood. Not like that. It feels reasonable, fair, noble. But in Machiavelli's eyes, it is the moment you lose everything. Defending yourself signals weakness. In the unforgiving arena of power, perception is everything. When others see you flinch, they do not see vulnerability. They see opportunity. The man who defends himself lowers himself. The man who doesn't forces the world to defend him instead. Explaining rarely convinces anyone. It shifts power away from you. Because when you justify your actions, you step onto their field, accept their framing, and grant them authority to judge you. Even if you are right, you appear guilty. Only the weak rush to explain. The strong, they let the silence burn. Allow the accusation to float, untouched. They understand the real move. Turn the accusation into a mirror. Make the accuser doubt themselves, appear emotional, bitter, unstable. Machiavelli knew that whoever controls the frame controls the outcome. Most defend themselves because they want to be understood. But clarity is not strategy, control is. Power doesn't come from being understood, it comes from being feared, respected, untouchable. Speaking first often loses the frame. Silence lets others collapse under their own words. Machiavelli dissected human cunning, exposing hidden patterns beneath civility. He saw not just what people did, but why. The rhythms of ambition, fear, envy, and desire. Appearances matter more than truth. Perception drives loyalty. When attacked subtly or directly, the average person flinches. They defend, explain, justify. Words pour out like water from a broken dam. They become the defendant. The crowd observes their reaction. Weakness is palpable. The Machiavellian, they pause. Stillness becomes armor. Calm becomes strategy. They do not defend. They control tempo. When necessary, they invert the accusation. If that's how you see it, delivered with measured detachment. Suddenly, the accuser carries their own weapon. The guilt shifts. They begin to question themselves. Even in modern arenas, boards, online feeds, comments, silence, deflection, and reframing are influence currency. People always call you dangerous when they can't control you, by remaining composed. You turn attacks into mirrors of insecurity, letting others collapse while your presence remains untouchable. Imagine a meeting, someone says. I'm not sure this strategy is well thought out. Most respond instinctively. Clarify, justify, explain. Nervousness leaks. The room senses it. The Machiavellian operator, they lean back, calm, still. If they speak, it is to redirect. Let's hear your strategy then. The burden shifts. The room's attention flips. In relationships, the principle is identical. Partner accuses, you don't care about me anymore. Most panic, launching into explanations and reassurances, validating the emotional frame. The Machiavellian, they let the accusation hang, then calmly. That's not how I see it. Short, grounded, controlled. Your lack of reaction exposes others' instability. The room, the partner, or the crowd now fills the silence with their own doubts. Their authority diminishes, yours expands. Control of the emotional tempo equals control of the narrative. Consider this. The most dangerous move may not be to strike first, but to say nothing at all. Silence, patience, measured stillness, these forces turn attacks back on those who wield them. True power is revealed not in words, but in absence. The unspoken authority that bends perception effortlessly. Fast forward 5 centuries. The stage is modern, boardrooms, politics, social media feeds, all theaters of strategy. Subtle maneuvering, unseen influence. Leaders, CEOs, influencers calibrate words, bend narratives, orchestrate perception as if the crowd were clay. Machiavelli's lessons echo, not relics, but truths etched into human interaction. Understanding the Machiavellian mind does not make you ruthless, it awakens you. To see behind smiles, handshakes, polite agreement, to recognize invisible currents shaping loyalty and reputation, silence can be armor. Presence, carefully cultivated, becomes louder than words. Perception is a tool, malleable, strategic, able to create influence without explanation. Control begins with mastering your own impulses, understanding your emotions, and choosing when and if to strike. The ultimate lesson? In a world rewarding cunning and punishing naivety, those who understand the rules and choose restraint, wisdom, and measured action do not merely survive, they rise above approval beyond petty perception games. They stand not above morality because they are virtuous, or above power because they are feared. They stand above chaos itself. Awake, untouchable, free mastery begins within. By never defending unnecessarily, one becomes untouchable. Silence evolves into aura, presence, and definition. Reputation is no longer about likability, it is about consequence. And in that quiet, deliberate mastery, Machiavelli's true philosophy reveals itself. Power is not taken. It is sculpted, one deliberate pause at a time. Now it's your turn. How do you see the power of silence in your life? Have you ever witnessed someone turn the tables without saying a word? Leave a comment below, and share your experience. Let's explore together how Machiavelli's lessons still shape our world today.